August 18, 1590. The English ship Hopewell drops anchor off the coast of what is now North Carolina. On deck, John White grips the ship's rail, his hands trembling with anticipation and dread. For 3 long years, he has fought to return to this remote island, to his daughter, granddaughter, and the 115 colonists he left behind. As White's boat scrapes onto Roanoke Island, he calls out, "Eleanor, Virginia, anyone." Only silence answers. The houses stand empty, their doors open. Gardens have grown wild. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no indication of where an entire colony could have gone. But carved deep into a wooden post, White finds a single word, Croton. What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Did they integrate with local tribes? Were they massacred? Did they attempt a desperate relocation that ended in disaster? Or do they still live on as something new in the American wilderness? Tonight, we enter America's oldest mystery, where 115 souls vanished, leaving only questions. To understand Roanoke, we must first understand the desperate gamble that brought English families to this dangerous shore. Roanoke Island was England's first serious attempt to establish a permanent colony in the New World. In 1587, Sir Walter Raleigh sponsored the expedition as a commercial venture and a strategic foothold against Spanish expansion. The colonists were families seeking new lives, including 17 women and 11 children, led by Governor John White. Among them was White's pregnant daughter Eleanor Dare, who gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. The timing couldn't have been worse. Shortly after the colony was established, England became embroiled in war with Spain. The Spanish Armada threatened invasion, delaying White's return journey to resupply the colony for 3 critical years. The colonists were surrounded by complex Native American politics. The Croton tribe was friendly, but other groups were hostile. The colonists were isolated, outnumbered, and dependent on supply ships that might never come. When John White finally returned in 1590, he found America's oldest unsolved disappearance. The mystery of the lost colony begins with a father's impossible choice. In August 1587, Governor John White faced a crisis. Colonists were low on supplies, and tensions with Native Americans escalated. White would sail back to England immediately for supplies and reinforcements. He left his daughter, newborn granddaughter, and 114 other colonists to survive on their own. Before departing, White and the colonists agreed on a communication system, carved their destination into a tree or post. If in distress, they would add a Maltese cross. What should have been a quick resupply became a 3-year nightmare. The Spanish Armada crisis meant no ships could be spared. White watched helplessly as months turned to years, knowing his family was cut off. When White finally returned in August 1590, the island was empty. The fort had been dismantled in an orderly fashion, not destroyed by violence. Personal belongings remained, but there were no people, no bodies, no signs of recent habitation. Carved into a wooden post, White found Croton, the name of a nearby island inhabited by friendly Native Americans. There was no Maltese cross, suggesting the colonists weren't in immediate distress. But the mystery deepened when White tried to investigate. Severe weather prevented him from sailing to Croton Island. His ship's anchor cable snapped, and the captain refused to continue the search. John White was forced to sail back to England, never knowing what happened to his daughter and granddaughter. He died without answers. For over 4 centuries, historians and archaeologists have proposed theories about the lost colony. Let's examine the 4 most compelling explanations. The most optimistic theory suggests the colonists relocated to Croton Island and integrated with the friendly Native American community. The carved message pointed to Croton. Early explorers reported meeting Native Americans with European features and English words. Excavations on Hatteras Island have uncovered European artifacts from the right time period, mixed with Native American materials. A darker theory proposes that the colonists were killed by hostile Native American groups. Previous English expeditions had created animosity. The colonists were vulnerable and outnumbered. However, no evidence of violence has been found at Roanoke. The orderly dismantling suggests a planned departure. This theory suggests the colonists attempted to move to a more suitable location, possibly the Chesapeake Bay area, but perished during the journey. Roanoke Island had poor soil and limited resources. The colonists may have decided to relocate to a more promising area, as discussed before White's departure. Archaeological digs in the Chesapeake Bay region have found European artifacts that could be from the lost colony, including pottery shards and metal objects. The most complex theory suggests the colonists gradually dispersed into various Native American communities over several years. Genetic studies of Native American families in North Carolina suggest possible European ancestry from the late 16th century. Historical accounts describe Native Americans with European features. The Lumbee tribe of North Carolina claims partial descent from the lost colony, pointing to family names, physical features, and cultural practices. Modern archaeology has provided tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers. In 2012, researchers discovered a hidden symbol on John White's map that led to archaeological sites yielding Elizabethan-era artifacts. DNA studies of regional Native American populations continue, though contamination from later European contact complicates the results. The most remarkable recent discovery came in 2015 when archaeologists found European pottery and other artifacts at a North Carolina site matching the lost colony's time period and origin. But whether these belong to Roanoke colonists or later settlements remains unclear. Perhaps the enduring power of the lost colony mystery lies not in the disappearance itself, but in what it represents. The courage of families who risked everything, the tragic consequences of abandonment, and the possibility that disappearing isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of transformation. Somewhere in the genetic heritage of modern North Carolina, the lost colony may live on not as English settlers who vanished, but as Americans who adapted, survived, and became something new. The mystery endures, waiting in the mists of history for the final clue that will bring the lost colony home.